to another video on my channel, and today the video is actually going to be a bit different than what I usually record on my channel. I said that I'm actually going to do a video for you guys showing you what my setup looks like, and obviously I can remove the camera for where it is right now just to show you around the actual setup here, but it's going to be a hassle to try and put back, so I'm just going to describe to you what things actually look like, but I will show you what my setup on OBS looks like. And OBS is a software that's used for video recording and also streaming if you want to stream, if that's your thing. So to start things off, obviously, as you can see here, I do have this physical keyboard here, and just to show you guys that it's a physical keyboard, I'm temporarily going to hide the MIDI keyboard. So if I just do that, you see now there's actually a keyboard here. This is the keyboard, a Roland XPS 10, and then over here I have my actual keyboard which I use for editing, and then to the right of it there's actually a mouse over there which you can't see, and then I have my screens in front of me which I use for editing. So I'll just turn that back on now, the MIDI keyboard. And then over there by the MIDI keyboard, oh yeah, you can see the mouse which I'm hovering over the MIDI keyboard now. On the MIDI keyboard over there, how that's set up is I have I think it's a USB A. Yeah, I think it's a USB A cable. It looks like a printer cable. I have that plugged into the Roland XPS 10, and then the other end is plugged into my PC. And using that, I can go ahead and have the keyboard when I play the keyboard, it has the actual chords, the actual notes I'm playing display on the MIDI keyboard. So that's how I go ahead and have that there. So with regards to the camera over there, so as you can see my hands and you can see my face. It's because I actually have two cameras connected. There's one camera that's over there which is the face camera, and then there's a camera over here which is the piano camera. So the piano camera is actually pretty much right above me over there. So if I actually go on the piano camera, and then you see I'm pointing, right? I'm pointing up. I'm going to lift my finger up. You'll see that eventually my finger comes in the screen, right? And then as I go up, you can see where I'm pointing on the piano camera. The camera is actually up there. So pretty much what I'm saying is I can even go ahead and put my face there, and eventually you'll see that my face is there, right? Because the camera is up there. And then with regards to how I have this overlaid here, I'll show you guys on OBS. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm going to actually swing the OBS recording to the screen which you guys can see. So now you're going to see everything on that screen over there. So now it seems like a bit of an inception, but then what I'm trying to show you is that this is the actual OBS setup that I have, right? So I don't know if you guys have actually used OBS, but in OBS you have different scenes. So I have different scenes for different stuff I'm recording. So as you can see, I have one for piano covers and a different one for piano tutorials. And so the one for piano covers is where you usually see I have the actual song playing over there, then my face, and then the piano over there. For the tutorial one, it's usually I don't have the song playing because I'm just doing a tutorial. And on the actual sources, I have my channel logo. So you see this thing over there. That's my channel logo by the top left over there. My channel logo. I literally had it as an image and put it inside there. Then a bunch of screens which I have the different things displaying, right? So for example, the actual MIDI piano, which you guys can see the blue notes playing, that MIDI piano is actually on another screen, and I add it as a source. So for example, if I go ahead and press this hide button, it will hide it, right? The same thing with the normal piano. If I go and over here to the piano camera and then hide that, then you won't be able to see that, right? So I have everything added there, and that's how I can go ahead and have that. So let's see, what else do I have here? In terms of, okay, yes, in terms of getting input in, you can obviously use, if you're using a laptop, you can have the input source. I think that's this is the input source over here. I call it mic 1, and you can have that as the sound of the laptop. But if you have a PC, you obviously have to get an external microphone. There are different types of microphones. The microphone I have right now is not the best, honestly. I am getting a new one, and hopefully that one works better than this one, because the issue with this one is that it gets sound from everywhere. So you can literally even hear the cars outside interacting with it. So I really need like a single directional microphone. So yeah, and then when you want to output sound, so yes, this is an important thing, right? So technically speaking, I'm gonna take a step back now, right? Technically speaking, Synthesia right now is only actually showing the keys for me right now. So what you're hearing over here, that's the actual sound of my actual keyboard, right? And let me show you exactly what I mean. So if I go ahead and move this back here, now I'm gonna move that back and then actually put the Synthesia outputs over there, right? Okay, you can see it properly. Now, when I'm going to the settings over here, you obviously will, if you have the keyboard, right, you'll see that the music input, I have the Roland XPS 10, but if you look at over here, the actual volume scale is set to like almost, you can't have it less than 1%, so I have it as 1%, and that's because I have an audio card, I have a sound card which is plugged into the keyboard, and then it is also plugged into my PC, so that the actual piano sound comes in, because the sound from the Synthesia app isn't that good. So if you do want to get better sound, you have to get a sound card, and I'll show you this, right? So how can I show this? Oh yes, this is what I'll do. So this is currently the sound of the keyboard. Oh, let me reset that so it doesn't affect that. And then now, yeah, that's the sound of the keyboard. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to mute the sound card. I think that's how I do it. So I'll mute the sound card. So now, even though I'm playing it, you can't hear anything. And then I'm going to increase this volume to 100%. I think this is going to work. Yeah. Right? So now the sound which you're hearing now is the actual sound of the Synthesia app, right? So right. So what it does is it tries to kind of find the best sounding instrument for what you're trying to play. Like for example, let me just do this now. I'll make this easier by leaving this at 100% here, and then just to show you what I want to actually play, I am going to mute either the video output, sound output capture, or the sound card, and then I'll tell you what exactly the sound is coming from. Oh yes, sorry, I have to reset this, so it's only going to show a few keys. Just reset that quickly. Cool. So now, currently the sound, it's actually the Synthesia app where you're hearing the sound from, right? But now if I do this, for example, and I go to a electric piano, right? So I'm gonna play an electric piano. So that's a normal grand piano. Now I'm gonna play an electric piano. I'm gonna mute the Synthesia one, and I'm gonna show you what the sound card sounds like. that's an electric piano. But now if I switch over to the Synthesia one, this is what it actually sounds like. I'm muting the sound card now. This is what it sounds like. You see, it doesn't sound that nice at all, right? So that's why I was limited to only playing like a few things when I didn't have a sound card, right? But then if you don't have a sound card, just stick to the grand piano. It'll give you the closest sound, but even though it won't be the best, it'll still give you the closest sound, which is still fine, right? Then, for example, if I just show you what it ended sound like, so if I go to this one, 6. That's how it sounds with a sound card, right? But then now on the so if you see what I mean, it won't sound the same, right? And that's the reason why I have the sound card, and that setup over there. You literally just need to have I'm using a Behringer U2 or something, whatever. It literally just has an input with a jack. Yeah, a jack cable, like the bigger jack cable, not like a micro jack for a phone. And then the output is just a USB. You just plug the USB into your PC and you're good, right? So now let me just turn this off, because as you can see, I've got no use for that sound over there. Right, so let's go back to the piano now. So yeah, that's what I have over there. And in order for you to be able to get the sound from the sound card to actually show on your PC, this is what you have to do. I'm going to move the OBS screen back here now. So if you look over here, there is so remember I told you you have an audio input source. I have this audio input source as my microphone over here. See, it's a microphone, and that's how sound comes in. And you can see over here, that's the microphone sound over there. So as I'm speaking, it's going up and down. Then I have another audio input source over here, and this one is the UMC. So my actual sound card is the Behringer UMC 202 HD, right? So you add that as a device for an input source. So you see here, I can either choose the webcam microphone, the actual microphone I'm using here, or the sound card, right? And it's treated as like a microphone, but over here, but it's just an input source, right? So once you have that selected, right, then you're playing. It should pretty much just play, right? So that's how you get the sound and audio in. And then the last thing is that now, if you are actually, for example, let's just say let's just say you want to play a YouTube video or another video while you are actually recording your video, right? What you do now is that you have to have an audio output source. So you see this thing over here, audio output source. So for example, when you click the add button, you add audio input capture and audio output capture. So for your audio output capture, you have to select whatever it is that is currently set to be the audio source on your PC. What do I mean that? For me, it says speakers Realtek, right? So if I go over here all the way to the bottom of my screen, you'll see here, it says here, speakers Realtek is currently the output device for my PC. So you need to select that one. Otherwise, I think sometimes it just won't work, or might not work all the time. I can't remember. But then just always have it set to that. So since I'm using those speakers, that's the one you should play. And so now if I go ahead and just play a Birthday Joy celebration song, hopefully I don't get copyrighted, because I'm honestly not trying to do the tutorial right now. I just want to show you guys. If I just play a little bit of it, you should see the video YouTube capture thingy, because that's what I called it, YouTube capture. Naming is a bit... YouTube capture. There we go. So if I go ahead and start the video, you see, now it's jumping, right? Because you see, so, and that's how you go ahead and set up your sound over there, right? So now the last thing which I want to show you guys is how I get the layout to actually be like this, right? So remember I told you that I have the logo, I have the face camera, I have the YouTube source, I have the MIDI piano, and then I have the normal piano, right? So you need to remember that okay, this thing, it works on a layering basis. And what do I mean by that, right? When you're adding things on top of each other. So think of it this way: the way that you scale and size something, that'll determine whether anything behind it can be seen, right? So for example, this thing over here, this YouTube capture over here, it is layered higher than the MIDI source and the piano, right? So I go ahead and drag this above here, it's going to cover everything because it's at a higher layer, right? Same thing with this camera, with the face camera, it is layered higher than the MIDI source and the MIDI piano and the normal piano. So I go ahead and drag that above there, it'll cover everything, but it's layered lower than the actual YouTube capture. So therefore, that's why even though I go ahead and drag it, you can still see the YouTube source, right? With the piano, it is right at the back, right? So the actual real piano, it is right at the back. So if I go ahead and let me just cover everything else. So I'm going to cover that one, and I'm going to turn off the face camera, and I'm going to turn off the Synthesia, right? Now you can go ahead and see the actual piano camera. So as you can see, the piano camera is pretty big. It's covering a lot of my table over here, and you can see my screens over there. You can see my cabling here. You can see this over here. You can see the piano. But the only part which I'm showing you guys of the piano is this small section over here. And that's because I have it as the first thing which I add here. I make it cover the entire screen. Then I start layering things on top of it. So then after that, I'll, for example, add the Synthesia one, right? I add the Synthesia one. As you can see, I have it starting at this level over here, right? I have it starting at this level over here, because if I go ahead and move it lower, it's going to start covering the other piano now because it's at a higher level, right? If I move it higher, then you'll be able to see that part of the piano. So therefore, that's the reason why I have it over here. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it back. Then the same thing applies for everything else. Everything else, I put it where it needs to be, and the logo, I put it at the highest layer because the logo needs to be on top of everything, right? And if it's a case that, if you look at this stuff over here by the sources, if it's a case that you have something that is incorrectly layered, like let's just say, for example, the logo, right? Let's just say your logo, you have it here, but the logo is somewhere maybe at the bottom, right? So now you can't see the logo anymore. The way that you can go ahead and have it be visible, if you want it to be the highest level, is just go ahead and drag it all the way to the top. Right? Because if you drag it all the way to the top, it'll be at the highest level, right? So let me just drag it a bit higher, and now you can see the logo because the layering is like that. It's from top to bottom. Or you can go ahead, right click, and then go to order and say move up or move down, and that'll increase the layer, or move to top or move to bottom. As you can see, there's move up, move down, or move to top, move to bottom. If I move it to bottom, you won't see it. If I go ahead and right click in it again, order, move to top, now you'll see it again. And that's how I go ahead and have everything visible here. So I know it's been a lot that I've given you guys here, but I've gone ahead and shown you guys what it actually takes to get these video out, and I've always been just trying to improve the quality. Like as you can see, even right now, the the actual video quality on my screen is better because I went ahead and bought lighting to make it better, right? Because if I go ahead and turn the lights off, these lights that I bought today, this is what you guys would be seeing normally, right? This is literally how things would look normally as I'm recording my videos. And yeah, it looks nice and dark, but then usually like the actual better lighting, it looks better. Now everything, is actually more visible and whatnot. So yeah, hopefully you guys, you enjoyed this video. Until next time, guys, stay blessed.